What are your words of encouragement to all of us? I don't need encouragement. I'm good. I'm strong. I will fight to my death on this. But to everybody else who's faltering and wavering, what is your encouragement to them?
Well, I mean, my words of encouragement would be similar to the encouragement that I receive daily, which is from other people. I mean, it's amazing how depressing it is, and really has been since Memorial Day of 2020. That, to me, that's when it started. When they started telling all these lies about George Floyd and then burned all the cities and then claimed they didn't, and then COVID happened. It's like, it's been true insanity since about May 30th, 2020. And hard for me to look at the news, but that's my job, so I have to. So I found myself wrestling with discouragement and rage, more rage than discouragement. And, you know, you don't want to be angry. You can't make wise decisions in anger. Anger's a sin. So avoid anger, but it's hard to avoid anger. So I have just been so struck as I've seen all these things happening that I find repulsive and dishonest, really just the lying at scale that's going on. I've been struck by all the wonderful and truly decent and kind people that have emerged in my life, almost as a counterbalance to that. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but like 10 years ago, how many truly deep conversations did you have about life and the world and death and the future of democracy with other people? Like, probably not too many. I feel like the country's gotten unhappier, but also deeper. I feel like people's relationships have become, you know, I've lost 1 million friends because I'm now a fascist or whatever, but I've also gained so many friendships that are even more meaningful to me. I see that everywhere. And I don't think you need to be a believer to ask, like, is that natural, or is there some sort of supernatural element to that? And I think that's kind of most people's experience of life. Like, there's tragedy, but there's joy, and you get them in roughly equal measure, maybe a little bit more joy than tragedy, but that's just kind of the experience of living. And I have found that as my anguish over the country has increased, so has the joy and the wonder I feel in dealing with other people. And I think a lot of people have had that experience. I mean, I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, I was like, I had this like such a deep conversation. And I'm like, would we have had this 5 years ago? No. So just don't be discouraged. Open your eyes to the beauty around us. And the last thing I'll say is, this is a very beautiful country physically. Just physically. And all of our conversation about the environment is about this absurd global warming. I'm trying not to use swear words on stage, but nonsense. That's what it is. Whoever said that, yes. But no one ever talks about the beauty of the physical beauty of America. It's like ridiculous. You drive around Michigan. My wife's family has a place in northern Michigan. We fly into Detroit, drive up there to Winnetka, Michigan. It's like, by the end, I just have a grin on my face. And by the way, when we drive in Michigan, we only listen to Michigan artists, period. So it's 100% Motown and Bob Seger, right? Et cetera, Kid Rock. But by the time I get there, I'm like, I can't believe how pretty it is. And I think people spend so much time on their phones, captured by the screens, in the rage machine, they never open their eyes. They're like, look at those trees right there. They're insane. What are they going to look like in 4 weeks when they turn? Awesome! Unbelievable!